Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest. Now, this invitation that Jesus gives is given right after some amazing things that have happened. So Jesus has just sent out the 12 disciples. This is in Mark chapter 6. He's just sent out the 12 disciples. They've gone throughout the countryside. They've seen and done amazing things, announcing the good news about Jesus and his kingdom. They come back and they report to Jesus, and there's so many people going around that Mark says they weren't even able to have time to eat. So then Jesus offers that invitation, and it's such a beautiful invitation. Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest. So Jesus and his disciples get in a boat and they go off to a solitary place. But all of those people that had been gathering around them and had been taking up so much of their time and so much of their energy, good things, great things for sure, but the disciples were exhausted. All of those people, though, saw where they were going and figured out where they might land up, and they went there to meet and to be there when Jesus and his disciples showed up. And so when Jesus and his disciples were there was a huge crowd there in that solitary, secluded, deserted place. And Mark says that Jesus had compassion on them, and he spent time teaching them and healing them and just being with them. At the end of the day, though, his disciples come to Jesus and they tell him to send them away. Now, I totally understand, or I think I understand, where the disciples are coming from at this point. Could you imagine what's been going on? They're tired, they're exhausted from all of the work that they've been doing. Jesus finally gives them this amazing invitation. Come, just us, let's go somewhere and rest. And when he gets there, there's this massive crowd that is there, and they continue to demand time, attention, and energy. And by the end of the day, I'm sure the disciples are just fried. They're sick of this, and I'm sure you've been there too at some point. Now, seriously, Jesus has taken his disciples away to rest, and now there's this crowd of thousands of people that have gathered there, and he's asking them to feed this crowd? Come on, they're tired, they're exhausted. I can imagine just how angry they would be at that particular moment. It's right, there's drains on our lives all the time, and I think all of us are just sick and tired of so much that's going on that the thought of having to do one more thing, if there's one more person or one more issue comes up, we just want to feel like we crack. And sometimes it feels like Jesus asks us to do one more thing. But the amazing part is Jesus simply says, okay, what do you have? What is it that you can use? And they come to him with this really meager lunch that's actually donated by a boy that's in the crowd. And Jesus says, okay, have everybody sit down. And he blesses the bread, the fish, and then he distributes it throughout the crowd. And miraculously, the crowd has so much to eat, and they eat to their fill, and there's stuff left over. And I just imagine what it would be like to be the disciples in that moment where you go from anger at Jesus, at the crowd, at everything that's going on, to realize that you can't do what Jesus is asking you to do. And he says, okay, fine, I'll do it through you. And through them, then Jesus is able to feed this whole crowd, is able to provide a feast for all those who are there. Just this holy moment that's there. And I think sometimes that's all we are asked to do. We're asked to admit that we can't do it on our own. We're asked to give what we have to Jesus so that he can do amazing things with it. And then sometimes there are moments in our lives when we are able to see him do amazing things with that little bit that we give to him, and it creates a holy moment. So what are some of the holy moments you've experienced as you've engaged and given maybe your last little bit to God for him to do with what he wants? As usual, if this has been useful for you, I'd encourage you to like, to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and maybe share this video with others so they can be encouraged too.